In the last few videos, you saw some examples of real signals where we were measuring things. In this case, it was a microphone signal and an output from a power supply, and we were plotting them on an oscilloscope. And the plot appeared to be continuous, like you didn't see any discretization or digital effects or anything in the signal. And some of that's because the oscilloscope interpolates those away for you and gives you the sense that it's a continuous signal. So the oscilloscope is digital and it can't do continuous waveforms. In fact, a lot of things can't. And digital is so widespread now and turns out to be a lot more practical than analog signal processing. So we usually look at things in the digital domain. So we could use MATLAB to give an example of that. So note I'm using MATLAB R19A. So for your labs, you're going to want to use the latest, greatest version, which should be probably R2020B. So they usually have 2 releases a year, an A and a B, and then this is the year that it was released. So it's a pretty useful thing. And so to help us out, I made a simple MATLAB script, and you probably saw MATLAB or used it before in other classes like the EK125 or some other lab courses. So I made my script and I put it in a folder, and it's good to keep track of your work and call B491 or 491 here. That way, if I want to use it again, I know where it is. So that's better than just throwing it somewhere like in documents or on the desktop. And organization starts to matter at the when you get well into your science career or engineering career, you're going to have lots and lots of these things, and it's nice to be able to reuse them. So I usually write my name on here and what the thing is and the date or something just for my own use, or copyright information if that's relevant. There's nothing copyrightable on this. And then I comment things nicely. The first thing we're going to do here is make a timescale vector, and this is going to be a vector of each time increments along there. So we know because this is a discrete signal, we can't analyze this using analytic functions in a continuous sense. So we have to explicitly state what the times are. And so I'm going to do that in this timebase vector right here, this variable. And I build that, and then I have a start time. I'm going to adjust the code here a little bit. I put that in there. And then my start time is at time 0 seconds. Then I have a time scale. So this is the incremental time. And this is like how often we're going to make a number in our vector. And we call that the sampling rate usually, or the sample time. And in our case right here, it's going to be 0.001 second, which is 1 millisecond. So that's going to say every 1 millisecond, we want a number to be in our time base. And then we have an end time in seconds. So our signal goes from 0 seconds in increments of 1 millisecond to 1 second. Then I also put this variable in here, sample rate, and the sample rate's an important thing in digital signal processing. You'll see that a lot in 403, and the sampling rate is really 1 over the time scale in seconds. So in our case right here, because our time scale is 1 millisecond, 1 divided by 1 millisecond is 1,000. That means that we have 1,000 sample points or time steps per second. So that's an important thing to get down. So now we're going to make a simple constant signal. And a constant signal is just a signal that's one number for all time. So the funny thing is we made this time base right here. We're actually not going to use it. But what we are going to use is we're going to use the length of this vector. So in MATLAB, there's a function called ones, and it allows you to make a vector or matrix of ones with 2 dimensions. The first dimension being 1, because we just want this to be basically a 1-dimensional vector. And then the other argument is the length. So we're going to get a vector of 1s that's exactly the same length as time base. Then we take those 1s and we multiply it by our constant, and that gives us a constant signal that has a value for each time. So those map together. And now we could plot that to see how it looks. So I use this function right here called figure. That opens up a new figure. Simple plot x and y. I always like to label things because otherwise they get confusing. So a cool thing about MATLAB is if you put these double percentage marks in there with a white space in front, you can see it kind of sectionalizes my code. So I could run this part of the code right here. And so if I run that section, first I'm just going to run a clear because I actually ran it once already when I was testing it. So clear is good to run sometimes depending on what you're doing. In this case it is. So we run it and we get a very interesting constant signal. And so we could see there for all time that we specified from 0 to 1 second, it's 0.42. That's great. Keep on zooming in, and there it is, 0.42. So not totally interesting, but important nevertheless. So we also looked at a sine wave, and we could generate a sine wave using our same time base. Like we made that time base up here. Now with the sine wave, it gets more interesting. So when you're generating a sine wave, there are two parameters that come into play. You have the amplitude of the sine wave. In other words, how far away from the zero or baseline it goes. I actually conveniently have this oscilloscope picture right here. So this is not perfect. You can see it's drifting off a little bit, but if we assume the zero of the sine wave is right there, the amplitude is the displacement, both positive and negative, from that zero. I'm glad that was there. And then the other important parameter is the frequency. So we specified what frequency we want to look at right here, and frequency is in hertz. That's once over second. So we put that into our equation right here, and we have our time base in here. So that way, this is going to be a vector that's going to be the same length as time base, and we're just running the time is the variable, of our function that we're just running through this equation right here, and then we could run this section as well. So first I'll run this section again, get my constant. Now I could run the second section right there, and then you'll see a sine wave appeared in there, and the sine wave goes from 0 to 1 second, same time scale. Its amplitude is 0.5. You can see plus minus 0.5 on there, and then it's plotted in red because BU is red. And now the next thing is, a lot of times you don't just see sine waves that have an average at 0. There's some DC offset to it, or what we call a DC component. So we could easily build that by taking our constant and multiplying it by our sine wave voltage, and we're not multiplying by adding. So once again, we're adding this, and we do that point by point. For each point in time, say for point 0, at time 0, we add the time 0 point of the constant, the time 0 point of the sine wave, and that comes out to our new wave, which we call AC/DC. And we could plot that again, run that section, bring it back up, and you could see right here, so we plotted K is black in MATLAB, so it plots a black line. And you can see now we have the same exact sine wave added to the DC offset. So the sine wave is now centered around 0.42 volts, but it still has an amplitude of plus minus 0.5. So the high side would be 0.5 plus 0.42, which is going to be like 9.2. And then the low one, let's see if I could do this, it's going to be, let's see, 0.42 minus 0.5, and that's going to be somewhere around like minus 0.8, or minus 0.08, actually. And my math is pretty close. Okay, yep, there it is right there. So notice when I'm zooming in on these signals, they look continuous, right? And you're like, well, hey, we made a discrete signal. Why is it continuous? And MATLAB plot functions doing us a favor in interpolating the signal, because a lot of times humans like to see things as continuous. So we could go back and run our code again, but this time we're going to have it plot O's. So instead of continuous lines, we're going to add, basically make it plot zeros or dots or whatever you want, open circles at each point. We could run this again. And now you could see if I bring this down here, each of these circles is representing one of the discrete points. And you can see for all the signals, it's a lot more obvious for the sine waves, even if we zoom in on the constant right there. So this represents that time interval we're talking about, and this is a discrete signal. So this is really what the math was doing. The difference is in this plot, MATLAB was interpolating it for us, but it is actually the same signal. So that's an important distinction. You'll learn a lot more about that in the signals and systems class. And when we collect data from our sensors in this class using our Arduino or other sensors, it's going to be in this discrete form because we're digitizing it with a computer.